I would love for you guys to talk about some of that Old Testament, Old Covenant sexuality and what
Mhm.
that means for sexuality in today's day and age, because there's a lot there that we can
Totally.
look at in the Old Testament.
Yeah. Well, I think even what you just bring up there is that there was a precedent set, a framework set for healthy sexuality. And it wasn't, Adam, knew this, girl on Tinder and then they slept together. You know what I mean? Or Adam, had this hookup and, and then they slept together or whatever. And then they gave birth to Cain and to Abel. Like, it's like Adam knew his wife Eve. You know what I mean? That was the context in which sexuality, right, like right
Mhm.
back in the very beginning in the garden, this was a context in which God has always kind of framed sexuality to be. And it was meant to be this close knit gift within marriage, as it says in Genesis 2, that Adam and Eve were naked and they were not ashamed, which is not the current reality in the current kind of cultural sexual ethic in the world. It's like you're filled and riddled with shame. And that
Mhm.
was just never God's heart. And so I think whenever we're talking about this topic, you have to go back to the beginning. Theologians talk about a principle at times that can be used like the law of first mention. And so, like, whenever you're looking at a topic, whenever you're trying to exegete or draw something out of a passage, or if like a principle is kind of laid forth, it's important to look and see, well, where was that principle first seen? And so whenever we approach this with the church, it's like we are trying to highlight the fact that God is so pro sex, but he is also very much understanding that there is a danger if it's taken outside of the context he's designed it to be. We often use this analogy of like if sexuality is fire and fire belongs in the fireplace. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's a beautiful gift. It keeps the house warm. It's nice to look at. It's an enjoyable, pleasurable experience and it's a gift. You take fire out of the fireplace, you burn your house down. And so but even within that, you need to see that God not just had a good design, but his heart was good in it. So when he puts a prohibition around something, he's not some evil God trying to squelch humanity of their sexual expression. He's actually like, no, I actually know
Mhm.
you better than you know yourself. And so this context in which I've put sexuality into is actually meant to be a blessing in your life and not a burden. So that's like whenever we talk about the Old Testament realities or any sort of like meta narrative within scripture around sexuality, that's where you have to start.